Welcome to the Core Racing Series post-race interview. This is going to be the race interview for race number 3. We are racing the Daytona prototypes at Kansas, sponsored by Sueño de Otso, a tequila company. That was a pretty rough race. I have Carl in the booth with me. How you doing, Carl?
Good. How's it going, buddy?
It's going pretty good. I know the race was rough in the beginning and kind of rough at the end, but I would say the mid section of it wasn't too bad. You guys did a good job going into the caution or the comp caution, and then after the comp caution, it kind of straightened out a little bit, and then the action picked back up again towards the end. Overall, how'd you feel about the race's turnout?
I mean, honestly, of course, right after the race, everybody's heated. Everybody, thinks that everybody did them wrong. But looking back at the race and, kind of just doing an overall recap on my own, it really was a great race. I mean, there was tons of great action. You've seen a lot of guys battling for multiple laps. You've seen guys come from the back to the front. I mean, it was a great race altogether. I think what kind of ruined it a little bit in the beginning is just people either not having the practice time in or just pushing a little bit too hard, or just getting a little too close to people because they maybe don't understand how wide the cars are, or they're just straight up trying to be too aggressive, and that kind of caused a lot of the incidents in the beginning and even some towards the end. But I mean, honestly, it's like I said, plenty of battling. I mean, I think me and Eric battled there for felt like about 50 laps. It was probably good, maybe 20 laps that we were just side by
Yeah.
side, and neither of us could kind of fully clear each other. It was great, and that's what I wish the whole race was. But you have those things happen.
Well, that's also kind of, a result of having the Daytona prototypes on Kansas. Kansas had some nice banking, which allows you to go wide open with these prototypes, and these prototypes stick really well. And they're very aero efficient, which means, you get behind someone. I had Nick Nickerson explain to me what aero push was when riding behind someone. Never knew that existed, but it makes sense. But even then, with so much aerodynamics playing into or coming into play, you can be riding next to someone and potentially you could kill. You can create a vacuum in between both of you because you're riding so close to each other and suck each other back. It's like suck into each other. It's completely possible to do that, and when you have these cars that can manage that track and pretty much drive anywhere, what happens is you have people driving maybe a little bit over their head and being aggressive because they feel comfortable that these cars can handle that kind of turning.
Yeah, it's kind of the give and take. I mean, you're talking about aero push. If you just watch the myself on the last restart when I was behind Andrews and Paul Owens there at the end. I mean, I took the bottom and it would not turn at all. It got behind that dirty air, and I basically almost had to ride half throttle and the brake all the way to the wall and just barely escape with that one. That's how much aero push was bad there at the end. But yeah, I mean, when you have cars that are so high on downforce and they really stick to the track, it kind of gives guys maybe a little extra confidence that maybe they shouldn't have. It's going to be easy to stick it kind of wherever you want, and you're not going to be as aware of the guys around you. And when you go to turn and the car just automatically turns, as compared to something like, say, a cup car where it may actually kind of push the tires a little bit before it actually turns. That's where you're going to get that, where it's really responsive. So people are putting it where they shouldn't. I
Yeah,
mean, we could have very simply, had the Xfinity cars here, or the trucks cars, or the Cup cars, and run the typical Kansas race where it's basically the high line and that's it, and it's just a freight train around the whole thing,
hmm
and that's no fun. It's not fun for us not being able to pass. It's not fun for the viewers, and you. I mean, you got nothing to broadcast if nobody's passing each other. So that's why we try and mix it up. We have something like this where you can put it everywhere, but the guys just they need to put in the time, and really they just need to put in the give and take is really what it is. If you're giving each other space, especially in the first half of the race, there's no excuse for the incidents.
Well,
So
how was the communication in field or in the chat for give and take? Were you guys talking about, hey, I'm coming on your inside, or I'm coming up on you, or was it pretty quiet?
no, I mean there was your normal chatter. Unfortunately, it was from the normal guys. There was guys talking about hey, I'm going to give you a push here, or I got a run coming, or things like that. A lot of, I wouldn't say a lot, but some of the guys were talking. We could definitely go for some more talking, but it's almost kind of hard, when you're getting to a little bit bigger fields of 18 guys, you could have
That's a lot of
5 guys
chatter.
talking over each other.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Now, do you think maybe it? Oh, it's a give and take because having everyone in an open channel like that, it's easier for them to drive because then they don't have to hit a button. But then if you have them in the iRacing channel, you can possibly mitigate a lot of that open chatter because then they can hit the button, communicate what they need to communicate, and then get back into the game. There is a give and take with that on the open chatter.
Yeah, but in the same case, the only problem with iRacing is like unless you're set up, say like for instance, if I did that, I would set myself up as the race admin in iRacing, so that
Mm-hmm.
way, if anybody's talking and I need to talk over somebody, it'll automatically talk over them. It'll automatically basically mute theirs,
Right.
and I'll talk over them. But the problem is when even in that situation, if somebody's talking and then somebody else tries to start talking, they may not realize that it's not actually even being broadcast over there because somebody else is still talking.
Oh yeah.
You don't really know when somebody is talking and when they're not, and who's talking over who. So you may say something and it never actually goes through because somebody else was already in there chatting.
Oh, okay. So yeah, then keeping everyone in an open group, even though it is a little more hectic, it probably is more advantageous to have that communication in an open chain.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, all in all, it's a lot of the wrecks. It ended up being between maybe one or two guys, and they collected two or three more, and it's really just because of the close racing, and there's really nowhere for you to go.
Yeah.
A couple of the incidents, definitely could have been avoided, but it's a situation where it's a not really a small track, but when you're running as fast as you are, you don't really have enough time to have the reflexes to get out of some of the wrecks that you may have on with a slower car. I mean, these
Yeah.
cars were hauling, plain and simple.
Yeah, no, you could totally see that they happen like an instant, and the moment those cars hit, they're not like some of the NASCAR cars or even some of the you'd say like late models, super late models, or cars that you could see around that track, even the trucks. These things they take a hit, and you're talking about a huge damage to the vehicle, whether it's all your aero pretty much getting destroyed or the car itself being totaled. These things they want to fly. And any moment for them just to lift off the ground, they become a giant wing, and they take off. And we saw that a couple times. You guys hit the wall and they just start going flipping. Um,
Yeah, I think Platt earned the record for the most barrel rolls when he hit that wall and got taken out that one time. He flipped so many times I lost track.
yeah, but that's something to always keep in mind with these cars. As we do different cars on different tracks, V8 supercars, they're fast. They can either be stiff or loose when entering or exiting a corner. But when you go to like something like a Daytona prototype, they probably can't handle as much damage as a V8 supercar can take. So if someone's gonna get up next to you and door you, you're possibly gonna completely take that person out with just that small push. You have to be super careful with those cars. They're kind of like Indy cars, just the wheels are a little closed off. That's about it.
Yeah, I mean, you could kind of rough them up a little bit, and I kind of surprised myself how much we could actually hit and bump draft in practice. But then, I mean, you seen me on lap four. I went for just a typical bump draft on Kevin coming onto the front stretch, and it got both of us loose and shot me into the grass. It's
Yeah.
the cars were able to bump draft, but they were also finicky. So
Yeah, very
it got
temperamental.
yeah, it got me scared to almost bump draft the rest of the way until it got to the end.
Yeah, you're almost better off just sitting and doing like a little bit of a side draft just to keep that downforce there, and stay relevant and not completely get dumped if you get that arrow push.
Yeah, I mean the thing is, it's what these guys need to realize is it's a 125 lap race. Next week when we're coming to the Bush Clash for next week, it's going to be another 125 lap race. Granted, we're going to be on a half-mile track instead of a 2.5 mile, or sorry, 1.5 mile, but it's still a long race, and to be racing and to be causing some of the issues that we had in the first half, that's where it kind of got under my skin a little bit. The only thing you're racing for in that first half is right there around lap 60 where you're trying to get those halfway bonus points.
Yeah, that's the
Other
only time you
other than
should see
that,
someone pushing.
yeah, other than that, the incidents that we've seen were unacceptable. So that's gonna be a little bit harsher going forward as far as penalties going forward in the first half. But I mean, all in all, it was a great race. I mean, we had a couple good long runs. We
Oh
had
yeah.
green flag pit stops. We had guys up there that you don't normally see, and honestly, that's what I expected. Even if we didn't have all the incidents, the guys that were up front, anybody could have won that race because the car sucked up so well, and we have plenty of guys in here that are capable of winning if they have the right setup. And to see Eric back in the victory circle, that's awesome. I mean, there's a bunch of races he's been in that he just got screwed over one way or another. So
Yeah,
to get his
he's
second win and kind of make that first one not seem like a fluke, that's awesome.
yeah, and honestly, he had a rough season in season two. I think his first win was in what, season one. And then season two was pretty rough around him. He had a hard time, but seeing him come back and really fight for it on this last race was pretty awesome. He did a good job out in the front pack and going back and forth with you.
Yeah, and honestly, I mean, I joked with them even before you got this win, and especially after you got this win, that his first one didn't really count, because everybody wrecked in front of him, and we're driving the Mazda Miatas, so that's a little grandma car, so anybody could have really won that race. So the fact that he got a win in a real car now, now it's okay. Now it's
Now it's
legit.
official.
Yeah, now he can welcome to the victory circle. Yeah, all right. Yeah, awesome job by him. Good job by Paul Owens coming up there and finishing and even the one-handed wonder,
Yeah.
coming out there with a top five.
Yeah, Terry's really surprising us towards the end. I wasn't really I was a little weary, and then towards the halfway point he was up there, and I was like, okay, so he's gonna stick with it, and he did a great job out there.
Yeah, I mean he's just another one that there's plenty of races that he's in. You're just waiting for him to actually make everything click.
Yeah, you're just waiting for it to kind of the stars to align, and he's been close a couple of times and just kind of maybe bit the dust a little bit just with a bad run or something like that coming off the corner and just maybe got too aggressive or locked up his brakes. But no, I think he found his niche with these the Daytona prototypes, and hopefully he stays a little more consistent throughout the racing season.
Yeah, I mean, you say you got to wait for the stars to align. I feel like for Terry, you got to wait for the buzz to align. Once you have that perfect buzz,
The perfect buzz.
that's when you got to worry for him. Yep.
We all dream of the perfect buzz, riding the line before drunk but not yet drunk.
Yep. There you got the perfect buzz on Sunday, getting that fourth place.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I think that was a pretty good recap for tonight or for last night's race. Is there anything else that you want to talk about or point out?
No, just want to thank once again Kevin Foster and Sueño Diazzo for putting up the sponsorship for this, and looking forward to next race where we go for the Bush Clash once again at Myrtle Beach, and thank Willie Evernham for that sponsor.
Yeah, that's going to be a fun race. Once again, I'd like to thank all of our season sponsors, which is Joker Graphics. If you need any iRacing car wraps, he does most of all the core racing, or sorry, the core series car wraps, and he does a great job. And then we have Elkhart Racing Supply, which is owner is Jonathan Platt. If you are in the area and you're looking for some racing supply, he'll definitely work a deal with you. And Southern Heart Creations, don't forget to check them out on Facebook and on Instagram. Leanne makes some great tumblers, jewelry, t-shirts, anything that you want custom, she'll pretty much do. So go ahead and check it out on Instagram, Southern Heart Creations. And I hope everyone has a great day, and I can't wait for Sunday.
And just want to throw one more shout out to another sponsor that you forgot, Death by Moose Media.
Oh,
I mean, guys, we're not putting everything out there, so you gotta definitely throw a shout out to yourself because you do a great job out there.
I try.
Well, it helps with Camel in the booth now too.
Oh yeah, dude, he's like having a dictionary just opened up, and he just dumps information. I love it.
He's awesome. He's in his element. I mean that's where he belongs. We love him on the track, but he's great for.
Yeah, I honestly can't wait to see him race hopefully he races the Nuremberg 24 with you guys. I love seeing him on the track, but having him in the booth, it's like, once again, he's like that. He's a solid guy you can count on. He's got a lot of good information, and he definitely picks up when he needs to. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, honestly, unless this apocalypse that we're in right now gets worse, or he has more computer issues, I don't see any way that Campbell is going to miss the Nürburgring race.
I hope so. All right, man. Thanks for coming out, and I'll see you on Sunday.
Sounds good. Thanks again, buddy.
You got it. Thank you to all our fans for staying with us for this long. If you are all the way at the end, go ahead and hit the like, subscribe button, please. Definitely can use the support as we grow and get this YouTube channel bigger and bigger. Thank you again, and I'll see you guys on Sundays.